go ahead, flip to our next game, and that's going to be our early game, our first of the early games, and that's going to be the Jags and the Bills. The Jags coming in here 2-2, fresh off of a win in Europe, and then the Bills are 3-1. And they are a 4.5 point favorite as well too. Over under 48 and a half. I got to get that in there, Jeff. I made this man do all them graphics, so I got to use all these graphics as well too. So pretty much, you have a game between two teams that are seen as teams that are supposed to be the best teams in their division. That's keep it real. But I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it way too funky for you, Jeff. And the Jaguars don't impress me at all. They are slow cookers like they were last year, but they're better than they were last year because we really wrote them off after the first game, and then they didn't start off that well either. But they were 2-2. Really, they were 2-2 at this point juncture of last season as well too. And a lot of people had them hyped up. Oh, the Jags have arrived. They have done this, that, the third. But I don't get that same feeling about the Jags right now. Trevor Lawrence is playing good football, but he's playing inconsistent football as well too. He could be a lot better. And when you look at the Bills pretty much are rolling in here right now. A lot of people are propping them up as the best team in the AFC after what they just did to the to the Dolphins. And they absolutely wrecked the Dolphins. But I think that was more of send the message. And the Dolphins really had to get their medicine after what happened against Denver. If anybody, and that was stupid of me to think that the Dolphins were going to really win that game, knowing that they've had all those troubles up in Buffalo over the last decade. So, that was my fault. Sorry. I was just trying to, ride the wave because sometimes you just got to keep riding that hot hand until they get extinguished. And that's exactly what happened last Sunday. But when you break down this game right here, the way that I see it, I think that the Bills are just too hot coming into this game. And I think that they have a bit of a revenge tactic to them because let's remember, this is where it started at for the Jaguars last year when Josh Allen, the defense of Josh Allen, had the best game of his career, and they were able to pull off a great win over the Bills, and they really kept the Bills in check that day. The Bills didn't even really score any points that day, so that's something that the Bills have thought about for a while now. So that's one thing that a lot of people will probably factor into this game as well, too, Jeff. But I truly do feel that you got to go with the Bills because once again, you got to just ride that hot hand. Josh Allen's playing some of the best football of his career at this point, and their defense is playing lights out. That's the one thing that's keeping me really heavy on the Bills in this game is that the defense will be the difference. And this has been the year of the pass rush as well, too. And I'll talk about that a little bit more after Jeff gets done giving us his 2 cents on who he likes and who he's betting. So, Jeff, what are your thoughts and who do you like in this game?
Well, if you go back to the Bills and their opening night loss in New York, a game that they got out early and let Zach Wilson come all the way back and took their foot off the gas, a la Kansas City this past weekend. And then they put up, 37 against the Raiders at home. Then they go to Washington and put up like a 40 burger. And then the game of the week, they put up another 40 burger against Miami. And where I'm going is for the past 2 weeks, I've had a gentleman on my shows on Friday that had the Bills as the number one team in the NFL. And I'm like, I know I had them last year and they let me down. And I'm just watching this team and this offense all of a sudden clicking. And it's the defense. It's the speed on the defense. They're playing both sides of the ball now. Now, like you said, Jaguars, slow starters. Don't forget, started 0-2, now 2-2. The reason I took the Jags here very simply is this. They played in London last Sunday. So they get to spend a week in London. There's no travel back and forth. I think the game's going to be competitive. Do I think the Bills are going to win? Most likely. Could the Jags pick them up? Yeah. If we get that Jags team that we thought before the season started, ETN, Calvin Ridley, Ingram, Kirk, Zay Jones has missed the last 2 games now. My point is I don't think Buffalo's going to be able to come in and run roughshod like they have against the Raiders, Washington, and now Miami. I think the trip to London might slow them down a little. I think the Jaguars, that they've been there for a week, might actually have that pep in the step and actually get out early, Pop. So I took the Jags +5. Anyone watching and listening that wants to back the Jags +5, I'd take a look at the Jags first half as well, especially if they get out early because they've been there for a full week. Maybe it's the Bills with that little hangover and the Jags can get them early. But we took a shot with the Jags +5.